good morning. Bruce here. This is GDXY. An interesting thing that I'm observing, based on share count, I mean, it's a brand new fund, but, and I see it in my private Slack group with more or less professional traders, investors, and people with a lot of experience. That's kind of why we share a lot there. It's just amazing. Nobody kind of right now wants the gold stocks, and yet gold's at all-time highs, very close. Silver is just breaking out and will, probably triple over the next year. And there's just so much positivity, and yet there's almost no interest because they're not AI, they're not FOMOing like everything else is. So, hard assets clearly are the future. This next 6-8 years, it's where the money is going to end up. Commodities, real things that everybody needs. Inflation and stagflation are just going to destroy a lot of stuff. There'll be some AI, and there's always room for tech, but they're not going to be the darlings over the next period of time that they've been. So, maybe the saying, skate to where the puck's going rather than where the puck's at. So it's clearly, I'm still in, I believe in BTC, so I'm obviously in Misty and Coney. I'm in YBit, which goes back to Bitcoin again. Privately, I'm buying some junior silver miners. I play options on some of the GDX major components because I kind of know where this is all going. So if you're not in this, I understand. If you're listening to this, I say buy it right away because I do see some movement over the next few months where this is going to start to really move. But it is early. I would call this the second inning of a 9-inning ball game. So clearly this is early. It's got years to run. And doesn't have all the FOMO that a lot of other stuff. So you don't have to load up on it hugely, but I just think it represents everything that Yieldmax does well because you want a bullish underlying. The last thing you want is a stock that's going to crash on you. Yeah, you'll get a little bit of dividend income, but you'll lose massive amounts on your NAV price. And I don't see that at all in GDX, going out 3 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's a very, it's going to go up 80% as an index and pull back, half of that 80% move up and things like that. But it's not in a bear market. It's really in the beginning of something when you look at valuations. All right, let me get into the context here. So 2.38 is what our underlying is, what GDX was up on, almost said Monday, on Tuesday the 28th. We were up at 1.84, so didn't perform quite as well. We're starting to be capped, right? We're at 36, I think, on and a 35. Our big one is at 36, right? 1,000 contracts and only 75 contracts at 35.5. This isn't going to pay this month, right? This is going to pay in in July. So I think there's a 1% chance they, why would they pay 10 or 20 cents? It's just, I think they're going to pay the following month, but I could be proven wrong. I just haven't seen the fund do that in these single stock ETF funds. Okay, so no trades. Again, not many people are buying into this fund, right? If you look at the underlying IV, it's like 30, right? 31%. And I think the year to, what's the weekly? It ranges between 24, 24.8 and 40. But I think this thing will get moving, right? I could easily see in 6 or 9 months this being $60. Well, that's a big move from 36, right? And it could be $70, right? This thing has very strong potential for these these miners that will be mining these metals at much higher prices than they have in the past, so their earnings are just going to grow in magnitudes. Okay, how we doing? So since we ran past the 36 on, we're now underwater, right? On this guy, we're underwater, but it's 75 contracts, 1.56. We just went 10 cents over. So that's not a big deal unless we close at 37 for the week, right? You guys all know my routine, and if you blow your weeklies, you don't make as much money, but these guys aren't paying, so it's not that much of a concern, right? I mean, I've got some shares deployed in it just so I could get into it while I'm reporting on it. I love to own something I'm talking about and watching, because then I get that much better when I want to DCA into it and I want to get involved. So direct cost average, you know, there's probably 10% of you or more that don't know that term, but that's what people mean by DCA. Yeah, DCA into it, direct cost average. So, you know, if you've got a lump sum of money and you want to invest 50,000 in something, don't go put it all in one day. You know, buy a fifth one time, you know, wait a week, buy another fifth. I mean, there's just ways to, you know, because the market comes and goes, right? These things go up and down. They may have an overall bullish bent, but there's going to be days when they're down. So anyway, that's what's happening here. So let's look at our holdings. So by moving up, we went up on our call. We've got 38 calls, but they're all the way out to 719, right? So the good news is that's come down. Look at my 3-4 day tracking. So we're now down, well, this really should be lower. It should be 170. What happened here? Oh, this is supposed to be 289. Copied the wrong one. That'll do it every time, not be 170. Okay, so we were behind 250, 263, 258. So they're going in the right direction. Now, that hurt us a little bit, right? Because this 1,000 shares at 36, you know, technically this should only be 10 cents, right? And on Friday, if it closed at 36.10, it would be 10 cents. And we sold our call, I think, for 31 cents. Yeah, 31 cents, right? So we can go to 31 cents and only lose the money that they gave us, the 31,000 on the 1,000 contracts, right? But we don't want to lose that. If we stay right at 36, we gain it all, right? If we close at 36.31, then we give everything back that they paid us. So that's the scenario there. You guys know it. I calculated, right? So it would cost us $51,000 to buy back the 34,600 they gave us, right? So, and a lot of that is just, you know, time decay, right? Your time premium. Decay happens daily. The premium is what is still there for the remaining 3 days, because 10 cents of that 475, right, on this number, right, it's 47.5. Well, 10 cents is because it's 10 cents past the 36. The other 37.5 is all time premium that'll disappear. All right, so covered that. Our close was 1931 and 1930.307, rounds to 31 here. No new shares. When you do net asset value based on share count, we're 4 cents overpriced according to that, right? No big deal. There's our monies in treasuries. And again, nobody's buying shares at the 25. I imagine they sold some shares. They just didn't equal a creation unit. For those of you that watch and listen regularly, you've heard me say that. So Yieldmax doesn't report the shares until they reach 25,000. So if 8,000 were bought today and 10, you know, last Friday, and when they get to 25, then they'll say, oh, 25,000 shares came in. And if it gets to 49,000, they'll say 25. So whenever they get increments of 25, then they report it, right? If they say 75 came in, it could have been 76, it could have been 99, right? Before it would be another 25,000. So there is some activity, but they're not showing you the increments. So let's look at this one. Nothing here to really see. We're at 36.10. We can go a long way before here. When we do sell, if people buy in the fund, we get to buy a call really cheap because it's almost $2 out of the money, and we get to sell a put for a lot because it's way below 38. So you see why we're building cash here, and yet we have a loss down here. If we had to close out, it would cost us 170,000, but we've got 72,000. And so that shows over here in our payout, right? So we got 72,000 there, 54,000. So we're just, cruising along. What happens is I don't want to see us lose 31,000 in that 36, at that 36 strike, right? So if we go to 36.31 by Friday, we'll lose 31,000 of this 54, right? But again, this is building. That's why I don't think they're going to pay it all. I mean, again, they could surprise me, but I think they pay in July. So anybody owning it, just look to buy on dips. Don't worry about it. It'll be a very, very good fund. If you want to wait and buy it later, that's probably okay too for now. But when you ask me for some good ones, this clearly is a good one. And this thing could get explosive as of, the middle of June. I'm expecting 38, 39, 40 type stuff. It could happen sooner. All right, that's what I got for you. I don't think there's anything else to tell you, good peoples. All right, so Bruce signing out. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always check with your financial advisor. Have a great week ahead. Okay, bye now.